I swear guys, the entire time that I've had this vehicle, it's been bright and sunny and nice, and the 2 days I have available for filming a review, it has been rainy, miserable, and humid. It is what it is. So I'm sure you know by now this is the 5th generation Supra. This is the 2021 Supra, so a year after it was first introduced. And new for 2021, the car gets more horsepower and it gets a different engine option, which is a 2-liter turbocharged engine. That's what we have in this 2021 GS Supra. This is basically the base model that you can get, and it's actually my first time driving the Supra since it's been reintroduced. So before we jump into anything else, let's pop the hood, check out that new engine option, and then we'll continue on with the review. And like I said, under the hood here is a newly optioned 2-liter turbocharged engine. This is actually the 2-liter twin scroll single turbo inline 4, produces 255 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. It's matched up with an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters in a manual mode, and should be good for around 25 miles per gallon city, 32 miles per gallon highway. And of course is a BMW sourced engine, which is also the case for the upper trim engine, the same engine that you would have got in the previous year, which is the 3.0 liter twin scroll single turbo engine, and that's an inline 6, and that pushes 382 horsepower, 368 foot-pounds of torque. Will get you about 22 city and 30 miles per gallon highway. So like I said, this is the base engine, a step down from the 3-liter turbo, but it still has good horsepower numbers for the size of vehicle that this is. So let's get behind the wheel. Let's go ahead and take it for a drive before we do anything else. See how we feel about this new engine and see what we think about the car. So let's get this thing out on the road, and first thing you might be asking is, how do I fit in this thing? How comfortable is it? I am a bigger guy, I'm 6'1", but luckily with these little hood bumps, I have plenty of headroom in this. The seat is very comfortable. It is a good seating position. I nicely fit behind the steering wheel. It's a little bit of a pain getting in and out of the car, but again, I am a bigger guy. If you're much more than 6'2", 6'3", this probably isn't the greatest car for you, but again, with that roof bump, it makes all the difference in being able to fit in this thing well. And like I said, it's a comfortable car to drive, even though it is a sport coupe. You definitely have stiffer suspension, so as you go over bumps, you're gonna notice it, but that's gonna be the same for any sports coupe, or at least it should be. You wanna feel the road beneath you. You don't want it to be dead. It definitely has that BMW-like interior and steering feel. It's very direct, very go-kart-like, which is probably a testament to this being on a shared platform and shared engine with BMW. So coming around these kind of sweeping corners, it's nice. Pushing out of the corner is nice. Braking is not the best in this model right here. We have single piston calipers on the front and back. Not great rotors, but if you step up to the 3.0 Premium, you can get Brembo brakes on this thing, and those are going to be a lot better. Definitely one of the places they cheaped out on this base model is the brakes. So if you're going to be tracking this thing, that's probably one of the first things you want to upgrade. But once you do hit those brakes and you're back on the gas, it does get up and go, even though it is only that 4-cylinder turbo engine. So we're braking. Of course, we got some slick roads here, so I'm not going to push it too hard. But it does get up and go pretty nicely. It can still be some fun to drive, even though, again, this is the base with the new base engine in it. Suspension-wise, it does have the double joint McPherson front struts and the multi-link rear independent suspension. So again, you can feel the road beneath you, but it's not very harsh, which is really good. The exhaust out of the gate sounds pretty good. It's not super loud. It's definitely not loud and obnoxious, which I'm sure if you want it to be, there are going to be some aftermarket options for that. But I prefer it more subtle, and I think this sounds pretty good considering it's a 4-cylinder engine. See how this does getting on a highway. About 15 miles an hour. To about 70. That's pretty good. Like I said, it can get up and go when you want it to. It's fun, and that's not even in sport mode or anything. This does have a launch control, and we'll try to do a quick 0 to 60 here in just a second before this driving portion is over. But it's definitely a solid driving vehicle, which I had no doubt at all. Looking around the interior here, again, it's very BMW-esque. This screen is definitely a BMW screen. It's got the iDrive dial here, definitely a BMW thing. You get the electronic shifter here, definitely BMW looking. We have these black Alcantara with leather trim seating, black leather throughout with white contrasting stitching, some carbon fiber trimming pieces here. The interior is a great vibe. I like the full black look, and it's really sleek and minimal, which I do like in a sports car. We do have 8-way manual adjustable seats in here, so these seats are not power adjustable. They're not heated seats. You can get heated seats in the upper trims, but these are very base seats, but they're still comfortable if you can get them in a good position. With the manual adjustments, they're comfortable. Our audio system is a JBL audio system. It's pretty good, not great. We do have 2 big speakers right here behind the seats and some speakers in the doors. Our screen here is an 8.8-inch screen. It is a touch screen, and it is accessible to touch. You're very close to it. Of course, you can use the drive controller down here. You don't get Apple CarPlay in here, although you do get a USB Type-A port for charging your phone and for interfacing with the system here. But again, it's not Apple CarPlay. You're just running it over USB. You can get Apple CarPlay in the upper trims, but it does not come in this base trim. We also have a digital gauge cluster here that shows you some pretty good information and has your RPMs front and center like every sports car should. When you put it into sport mode, it changes a bit to let you know that you're in sport mode. And you can hear that exhaust even better in sport mode. You do have some safety driving features as well. You have radar guided cruise control. You have really great traction control. You have lane keeping assist. But all in all, most of the time that stuff is negated by you wanting to drive this thing yourself because it is such a good drive. Well, let's find a back road to do a 0 to 60 on. And then we'll move on to the exterior of this thing, and I'll let you know what I think about the design of this new Supra. And then we'll wrap up the video talking about the price and competition and some of my final thoughts there. Let's get into it. All right, we got a bit of a straight road here, backcountry road. We are in sport mode. We are in manual shift. I'm not sure how to get this thing into launch control, and I didn't want to look it up yet, but you guys can leave down in the comments and let me know how to get that launch control set up. But we're going to do a quick 0 to 60 and see what it's like. Ready, set, go. 60. Yeah, I feel like that wasn't super fair. It was a bit laggy off the start. Let's try again. Come to a dead stop. Ready, set, go. So, not super fast, but definitely can still be fun. And much like a lot of base BMWs, it's not the 0 to 60 that matters in this thing, it is the overall handling. The handling feel in this is amazing. But with that out of the way, let's find a place to park. We'll talk about that exterior design here, and we'll start wrapping the video up. All right, now that we've established it is a great driving car, we've taken a look at the interior. Let's talk about this exterior design, starting off with this front end and those headlights. So we do have these 6 lens auto leveling LED headlights, 3 low beam and 3 high beam. You do have LED front turn signal indicator and daytime running lights. And they do give off a very Supra feel if you're talking about the previous generation Supra. If you're looking at the hood and the nose of the car, it is a very long hood. You've got these nice fender flares that bubble up and over. You've got the nose that comes down, sort of pointy, almost looks sort of F1 like. There are definitely some racing hints to it, but overall it's very bubbly, including the rear fenders that bubble out and the bubbles that you get on the hood, which are great because it gives the driver extra headroom, which I definitely need in this vehicle, as you saw as I was driving it. So again, that front grille portrays a very F1 style design. Lots of aerodynamic bodywork. Those side mirrors are gloss black folding side mirrors, and you have a turn signal indicator in there, and I really do appreciate having those folding side mirrors. This isn't a super wide car, so you don't really have to worry too much about parking it and having somebody hit your mirror, but it's always nice to have a folding side mirror. One of the best things I think about that is you know it's locked because these side mirrors are folded in on lock. Our wheels here along the side are 18-inch cast aluminum 10-spoke wheels with dual tone finish. We already talked about those pretty poor brakes behind those wheels. Of course, if you step up, you will get those Brembos. And we have some high-performance Michelin Pro Super Sport tires, which are pretty nice on this. So there are a lot of aerodynamic touches on the underbody panel of this thing as well. You have that little bit of a built-in rear deck lid spoiler that I think looks really good. I think the back end of this thing looks really good. You have LED tail lights, that LED backup lamp in the center there, and of course that dual rear exhaust outlets with polished stainless steel exhaust tips. And while we're talking about the rear end here, let's go ahead and pop open that trunk. And unless I'm just dense and can't find the button, there is no button to push back here to pop this trunk. So basically you have to pull out the key and pop the trunk. You have a nice cover here that can cover what you have in the trunk. You've got those nice speakers back there behind those seats, and your cargo volume is pretty good. It's 10.2 cubic feet of cargo space, which again for a 2-seater coupe is a pretty good amount of space. Fit all our camera gear in here, no problems. Did grocery shopping in this, no issues. Can you fit a set of golf clubs in here? Probably, but again, for a 2-seater coupe, it's a good size. Speaking of size, let's talk a little bit about the full dimensions of this thing. So your full length here is 172.5 inches. Height is 51.1 inches. Your total width is 73 inches. Ground clearance is 4.7 inches, so it's pretty low but not super low, and that makes the total wheelbase 97.2 inches. So again, it's about the standard size of a car for a two-seater coupe. But with that, let's talk about some of the competition that we have here, the prices and trims offered with the Supra for 2021, and then we'll begin to wrap up the review. All right guys, and before we wrap up, let's talk about the different trims offered here, the price, and some of the competition. Starting off with this one, of course, this is the base GR Supra. It's the 2.0 trim, and it bases at $43,090. The next step up is getting that 3-liter engine. It's the 3.0 trim, and it bases at $51,090. Then you have the 3.0 premium, where you start getting a lot more conveniences, and that's $54,590. And then kind of the top of the line right now is the A91 edition, which bases at $54,795. So an easy one to compare this with is the BMW Z4. They do share platforms, they do share engine options, and the base on that one with the same base engine that you get here is $49,900. Stepping into that 3-liter engine is $63,700. So it's not much more than this, but it is a bit of a step up in price. But I think it looks a lot better than this design. Of course, the Z4 is only a convertible. It's not a coupe, and this is only a coupe. So if you're one of those die-hard, I hate convertible people, this might be the answer for you. Me personally, I really like the styling of the Z4. I'm not a super big fan of convertibles, but I do like the styling better on that one. And if I was choosing between the two, I would go for the Z4. Of course, you can't talk about two-seater coupes in the US without talking about the Corvette. The new C8 bases at just under $60,000. It's a bit of a step up in price, but of course you're getting that Corvette V8 behind the seats now. You're getting that crazy exotic car styling without having to spend $100,000 plus, and much more power. Unfortunately, I haven't driven the newest Corvette. Hopefully I will soon, but that's definitely something worth looking at if you're willing to spend just a little bit more money. Around the same price as the Z4, you could be looking at the Audi TT. Of course, you have the TTS and the RS, but the base TT is under $50,000, and I think that looks really good as well. Stepping up a little bit more in price, you have the Jaguar F-Type, which bases at just over $61,000, but it is an amazing looking vehicle and drives really great. And then of course the new Porsche 718 Cayman, which is also about $61,000 at the base price, but is an undeniably amazing machine. And then we finally wrap up with the new Z coming out. We don't exactly have pricing information on that yet, at least not when I'm recording this. Maybe by the time the review goes out, we'll have pricing on it. If so, I'll try to put it down here. But it should be cheaper than this, but I have no idea how it is going to be comparatively to drive to this. We'll have to wait on that, but it's going to be a big contender. With that, let me give you my final thoughts and we'll wrap the video up now. All right guys, so as I've already said, personal preference wise, I'm not a huge fan of the design. I get it, it looks pretty good, but I think it's one of those rare vehicles that looks better online than it actually does in person. Again, personal preference. If you love the design and you're looking for this thing as your daily driver, I would have no qualms with it. It drives amazing. As much as I would rather have the 3-liter turbocharged inline 6, it's cool that they put this more base 4-cylinder turbocharged engine in it. It still gets good power, it's still fun to drive, but at least it's at a cheaper base price, which means you'll see more of these things out on the road than you would have otherwise. Personally, I like the Z4 if I was going for this kind of vehicle, but in all fairness, this one is a little bit small for me, even though I fit in it fine, driving it's comfortable, but just again, personal preference, I would rather have something a little bit bigger. That 4 Series coupe is, I think, about the perfect size for me. We have a review on that. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go check that one out. And I know the internet will hate me because they're not comparable vehicles, but if I was buying a coupe today, I would definitely be looking at that 4 Series BMW. With that being said, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the all-new Supra Let me know what you think about the competition out there for it and the price for this thing, and then putting the 4-cylinder turbocharged engine under the hood. If you're not already, subscribe to this channel, as we do a review every week, plus extra fun stuff when we get the chance. We should have a bunch of off-roading truck videos and SUV videos coming out soon as well, which will be fun. If you're into written reviews, go check out TXGARAGE.com, where we have some really great authors over there doing written reviews as well as news and event coverage. You can also sign up for our newsletter over there to stay up with everything that we're doing across all platforms. But with that, guys, I hope you did enjoy again. Thanks for watching.